Hello and welcome to this Nature's Sunshine Academy webinar. Today we're going to be talking about MegaChel, which is our key system product for the circulatory system, and it's also a very potent multivitamin. So we're going to be looking at why MegaChel is more than a multivitamin and the other things that we have in it which help support the circulatory system. So as a quick introduction, MegaChel is a highly potent multivitamin and mineral for everyday use. I have heard some people call it the Rolls-Royce of multivitamins, which I think is a really nice description. It contains a full range of vitamins and minerals suitable for everyday use, and also other supplements which we know support the circulatory system, which we'll talk about shortly. It's recommended for people over 40 years of age for that reason, because the circulatory system starts to suffer a little bit as we get into middle age. So it's specifically designed to support that and to keep the heart and the blood vessels healthy. So let's have a quick look at what is in MegaChel which helps to support the circulatory system. There's quite a few things in there, but these are just some. We've got citrus bioflavonoids, antioxidants, ginkgo biloba, L-cysteine hydrochloride, iron, hawthorn, coenzyme Q10, rutin, L-methionine and fish oils. So let's look at those in a little bit more detail now. Starting with antioxidants, we're going to have a look at how antioxidants specifically work in the circulatory system. So here we've got a cross-section of an artery, and you'll have to use your imagination a little bit because I've drawn it myself. So if we don't take enough antioxidants into our diet, the arterial walls start to weaken a little bit and they go a bit thin. So the body tries to patch them up as best it can, and the only way it can do that is by sticking fats and proteins to the weaker parts of the cell walls. And in doing that, unfortunately, it makes the elasticity of the cell wall decrease, which can cause problems with blood pressure. Low-density lipoprotein, or bad cholesterol as it's otherwise known, then starts to stick to these plaques as well, so that makes matters worse because you can end up then with a very, very small hole in the middle of the artery for the blood to get through. So if you're still trying to get the same amount of blood through a smaller space, obviously the blood pressure is going to rise then, and it's going to cause a number of health problems there. If we were to take antioxidants though, it helps to strengthen the arterial walls again, so that there's less need for that plaque to be there in the first place. And particularly if we take vitamin C, it helps the high density lipoprotein, which is the good cholesterol, to remove the excess fats and proteins from those plaques. So to some extent it will start to reverse the damage done. We know that this is definitely the case because there have been a number of studies which show it. So I'm going to quote this study here. I'll need to take a deep breath. But the study published in the Nutrition and Metabolism Journal in 2010 found that antioxidant supplementation significantly increased large and small artery elasticity in patients with multiple cardiovascular risk factors. This beneficial vascular effect was associated with an improvement in glucose and lipid metabolism, as well as a decrease in blood pressure. So in other words, taking antioxidants is very good for your heart, is the short way of putting that. The antioxidants they used in this particular study were vitamin C and E, coenzyme Q10 and selenium. And guess what? MegaChel contains these antioxidants, vitamins A, C and E, selenium, coenzyme Q10, as well as zinc, rutin and bioflavonoids. Obviously there are a number of other things in there on top of this as well, but we're going to try and keep it fairly simple for now. Another mineral that MegaChel contains is iron, and iron is a really important ingredient of hemoglobin, which carries oxygen around the body in the red blood cells that we see on the right hand side of the screen here. So if we don't have the correct amount of iron in our diet or through supplements, the oxygen uptake of the blood may be too low, so that the blood can't get the oxygen to all the extremities of the body, and we may end up basically not having our tissues oxygenated enough for optimum health. We also have rutin and bioflavonoids, which I think are really interesting because they tone and condition the blood vessel walls, and they help to keep them in tip-top shape. So the hawthorn in particular, which is one of the herbs that we have in MegaChel, contains a lot of bioflavonoids. As well as being antioxidant, bioflavonoids are thought to have a beneficial effect upon blood pressure, blood sugar and liver function. So I'm not sure whether you're aware of the recommendation that you hear sometimes to drink red wine, a small glass of red wine once a day, because it has a beneficial effect upon your heart and your blood pressure. That's because the red wine, again, contains a number of bioflavonoids. Moving on now to another antioxidant, which is coenzyme Q10. The other name for coenzyme Q10 is ubiquinone, ubiquitous obviously meaning everywhere, because coenzyme Q10 is found in every cell of the body. And it's needed for the process that creates around 95% of our energy in all our cells. That process is done in a little part of the cell called the mitochondria, which you see on the bottom right hand side of the screen here. And the mitochondria act as like little batteries in each cell. They produce the energy both for the cell and for the body as a whole. So as a whole human being, this is a really important process for us. Most of this is concentrated in the heart, liver and kidneys because they need a lot of energy. And in years gone by, when we more commonly ate offal in our diet, we probably would have had a much higher concentration of coenzyme Q10 in our food for that reason, because it's in the heart, liver and kidneys. But offal has sort of lost its popularity in the British diet over the last few years, which may be why we're depleted quite often. Coenzyme Q10 supports heart health and energy release, and it's also thought to keep brain function healthy into old age. I could probably do with some of that myself by the sounds of it. So studies on older people have found that coenzyme Q10 has a beneficial effect on their brain function. A number of people take statins at the moment for high blood cholesterol, and statins actually decrease our ability to create our own coenzyme Q10. So if someone's taking statins, again, it's very important to eat a diet which is going to give them a degree of coenzyme Q10 in it, and also to think about supplementing as well. MegaChel also contains fish oils, which we know have a beneficial effect upon brain and eye function, and they help to maintain a healthy circulatory system. In addition, they help to keep your joints in good condition as well, so that's another important reason to make sure you get fish oils into your diet. Ginkgo biloba is one of the herbs that are contained in MegaChel, and that's another interesting one because it is the oldest tree in the world. It's traditionally used, particularly in Chinese medicine, to help blood flow to the brain, and a number of people say that if you look at a ginkgo leaf like we see here on the slide, it actually looks like a brain in cross section. So if you cut it in half widthways, and you would see the two lobes of the brain, which you see here with the ginkgo leaf and the stem at the bottom. It's been found to reduce plaque formation in the arteries like we were looking at on the antioxidant side, and it helps to maintain blood consistency at a good level, so it's not too thick and not too thin. Hawthorn is the other herb that we have in MegaChel. It's rich in bioflavonoids that we've already talked about, and vitamin C, so it helps to keep the blood vessels in really good condition and help to maintain their structure. It also supports healthy heart function, and herbalists very commonly use this with patients who have got heart problems of any kind really. It's a really good nourishing food for the heart. It works particularly well with ginkgo biloba, interestingly, because we also have that obviously in MegaChel. So to summarise then, MegaChel is a potent multivitamin and mineral. It has added fish oils, coenzyme Q10, bioflavonoids and herbs which support heart health, particularly in middle age and moving into older age. It's a key system product for the circulatory system, and it's recommended for anyone over 40. That's the end of our webinar. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have any other questions, please do email us at ukhealthsciences@natr.com. Thank you.